not then?
Well, no, I wasn't then because he made my mother unhappy, and my mother was adorable, and therefore I sided with my mother in this kind of, in their tensions. And so my mother took great refuge in her passionate belief in religion, and she was consoled by religion, which is the function of religion, is to console us in our grief.
Well, I'm hoping we're going to talk about that in a moment, Tom, and we're going to be talking more about religion and your motivation for becoming a monk.
Yes.
So
All right.
join us later.
All right.
Oh, look forward to that. I do envy Kate a trip to Glenbogle, my favourite destination every Saturday night. Can't wait for that to come back. And you can hear more of the interview with Tom Baker later in the show, when we'll also be putting Oz Clarke through Purgatory, St Patrick's Purgatory to be precise, as he goes on retreat at Loch Derg in County Donegal.
The human motivations behind it, not animalistic.
Rani, thank you very much on a really upsetting week of images in the news. Thank you once again.
Thanks very much, Rani. Now, thank goodness, it's back for a breath of fresh air to the wilds of Scotland, where Kate Sanderson has been talking to Monarch of the Glen new boy, Tom Baker, about a rather surprising aspect of his past.
Tom, you became a monk at the age of 15.
Yes.
Why?
Well,
It's an unusual thing to do, isn't it?
well, you said, isn't it? I mean, you mean, wasn't it? No, it wasn't at all unusual in the days. I'm talking about 55 years ago. It was actually very common, like lots of imaginative kids. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to do something. And, of course, it was very easy. People, priests and nuns and monks and brothers of all description were coming round schools, holding out all, the offers of glory, really. And so it was quite common. So I put my hand up, and the fellow said, "I'm looking for heroes." I put my hand up. If he said, I'm looking for members of the, the Foreign Legion, I'd have put my hand up. Anything,
Just to be somebody.
To be somebody. And so, it went
you
on
went
like that.
into this with
So
your
when I
eyes
went
open
in with
and
this bravely, I went in bravely to be poor. I was poor, chaste. Well, at 14 or 15, a sheltered life in Liverpool, I wasn't exactly promiscuous in any way at all. And as for obedience, everyone kicked me around. So when I got there I was used to
quite
it
normal.
all. It was quite normal, except, we wore long gowns, and it was a very ferocious existence, and there were long silences, which might explain the fact that I'm so garrulous now.
When you renounced your faith and you left the monastery, was that something difficult to do? Did you feel guilty given your upbringing?
Well, yes, I did feel guilty. I mean, guilt actually is a very, very common kind of emotion, isn't it? I didn't actually lose my faith as I left the monastery. I left the monastery because I was falling apart with unhappiness. And then I joined in the army. I suddenly realized if sex and drinking and swearing and telling jokes and supporting football teams and generally being raucous, if that was the devil, then I found that I liked the devil, I felt I had been deluding myself.
Before?
Well, I felt that the whole thing I had deluded myself, that this was all an illusion.
Do you think, Tom, you'll ever have a conversion on your deathbed? Do you ever sort of think that you might come full circle? It could happen.
Yeah, you're talking like a television interviewer now. I think actually if there were two cameras, if there was a close-up here, I think I might make a waggish death and be brave. But no, I can expect. Although, I mean, if there is a God, it's his duty. He created me. He wanted to love me, and his son died for me, they told me. And so, if there is any kind of, and I did lots of things that promised me eternal life. And so, maybe if he's there and I'm wrong, he'll show me some mercy.
So you'll be covered out both ways then.
Well, that's right. I mean, otherwise, I think I'll stand the knock, really.
But you do have this kind of forward-looking view of your death, don't you? Because you bought your own tombstone. What's all that about, eh?
Well, I bought a tombstone because I had an opportunity to buy an old gravestone, and the church needed the money, and I couldn't really. Well, I said, if you need the money, I'll buy that old stone off you. And it just happened the day afterwards was an engraver there. This is like a Dickens story. Chink, chink, chink. So I said, yeah, put my name on it. So there it is. It says Tom Baker, 1933 dash, and it's my gravestone.
There was a time in your life when you did actually try to take your own life.
Yeah.
How do you look on that when you look back now?
Well, I mean, I was so utterly miserable at that time, which is a long time ago, isn't it? An awful long time ago. And I was looking after someone who was desperately ill and was made desperately unhappy by his illness. He didn't like me either. And
This is your father-in-law.
Yeah, I used to try and make him comfortable, you know. And it was a terrible irony in his life that the person he disliked so intensely should
the
finally be the only one who could bring him any physical comfort. Anyway, I got so unhappy, which I've written about, and yet people write and say, I read that suicide attempt of yours and fell about laughing. But I thought...
Well, you did kind of sort of write it off as in a sort of way that could happen any day, and you only kind of got over it because you got woken up.
I woke up, and instead of saying, Christ, I've died, I thought I'm still alive. After having taken whatever, 28 or 34 Tufrenol tablets. And not only that, I mean, the humiliating thing was that I thought, irreversibly constipated. That was the amazing
The effect
thing.
of the pills on you.
Well, that was the effect of the pills on me. So that was a terrible humiliation as well. You know, the utter banality and futility of my self-dramatizing gesture. You know.
Do you think that's what it was? Was
Well,
it a bit of a...
I can't think of anything else. Yes, I mean, why should I have done something so silly when I was so young and full of life and vitality? But, you know, people do that sort of thing.
How do you look at your life when you look back on it now?
Well, when I look back on it, I'm amazed, you know, because it's all seems to me to be this kind of, like everyone else, I suppose, a series of accidents. I've been extremely lucky. I've been extremely lucky in, you know, somehow getting to this age, being lucky in my career. It's a kind of as if somehow or other fate, for some dark comical reason of its own, has picked me out to be lucky, you know?
And long may that continue.
A jolly boy.
And looking forward to Doctor Who appearing in Glenbogle. That'll shake them up there. They need a good shaking up. Anyway, lots of you, thank you, have been knuckling under to send us your thoughts about the virtues, or otherwise, of hard work.
Lots of you didn't bother because you were sitting in bed watching.
Lazy, that's your trouble.
Lots of calls actually this morning. Back with us are Pat Kane, author of The Play Ethic, and Yolanda Beckles, living embodiment of the Protestant work ethic. I actually suspect there's not such a black and white line between you. It's not such defined. You seem to be edging towards middle ground.
On the day of the Iraq elections, John Simpson considers the future for the Iraqi people and asks, what is our exit strategy?
Is Iraq heading towards inevitable disaster,